Okay, I'm back. Um, you might have noticed that the chair that I was sitting in was squeaking, and uh, and I realized that it was really not what I should be sitting on because, I mean, why would you want to sit on a regular chair like that? So, of course, what I realized is I needed to switch. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm on one of those exercise balls. Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So can use it against any surface as kind of an active form of yoga, kind of spontaneous. Just pushing into and against surfaces, feet grounded on the earth. So my office floors are tile, and any natural material on a concrete slab that the edge of the foundation actually touches earth, physical earth, is a grounded surface. Any natural material, tile or slate or brick or woods, are all grounded to the chi, to the life force, essence that flows on the surface of our mother, the earth, Gaia, living, conscious mother. Our birthright to remember that we are her children. And she's been anxiously awaiting our awakening return. 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar, was just foretold the transition in the polarity of the earth, the shifting of the magnetosphere of the earth, yin becoming yang and yang becoming yin. The feminine reestablishing her sacred dominion within the earth sphere. Again, it's a cycle. And the cycle repeats. The cycle repeats. The cycle repeats. The cycle repeats. And through the cycles, we are offered the opportunity again and again to wake up. We are Avatar. So I'm talking about the Steven Spielberg movie about the indigenous people living on a faraway planet that we as humans have come to mine for non-renewable resources because we need it to sustain ourselves, and we're willing to not only destroy our own world, but we're willing to even reach out and destroy other worlds. It's science fiction fantasy. It's wonderful. But this one is special because it offers us a reflection of something that's deeper and truer. And often we use media, we use movies, TV, social forums to get another message, another layer, another level out. So there's just such a wonderful series of movies and TV programs. If we're discriminating, TV and movies really can be our ally. They can function coherently in a system of energetic balance. We just have to choose. We have to be discriminating. Free will, we actually have it. No, it's actually true. We have it. It's considered controversial, but I just offer it as a sharing. It's up to us whether we, I don't know why I'm slurring words, It's up to us whether we find it, embrace it, acknowledge it, awaken it, or not. So today is 4/14/20. It's a really special day, delightful day. For me, this is the birthday of my darling wife, Maureen. She's very lovely and sweet. We've been married over 40 years. And our relationship and our love has grown. Our awareness, our understanding has matured. Really delightful, wonderful partner. Happy birthday, dear. So today I wanted to talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19. The other day I posted a brief piece about taking a different view. But when this was starting, I wanted to kind of help clear the air, share some facts or some speculations, and maybe refine the data stream a little bit. So I wrote an article for Natural Awakening magazine, local Tucson magazine, about coronavirus. And what I want to do is I'd like to share some of the information in that article and then contrast it with what's happening right now. And so therefore I think it'll help get even a better perspective. Doing all that, we need to remember something really important. Many of you know or have heard this, that we live in this moment. That it really is actually just this moment. I mean, there's a past, and we can identify it, we can recognize it, we can talk about it, we can share about it, we can show pictures, we can show scars, we can definitely validate that it's real and it happened. But here's the simple truth. Right now, here together in this moment, the only thing we have of it is our memory of it. The only thing we have of it is our memory of it. The memory. So although it's real, it's not there anymore. But the only power it has in our life, in this moment, is whether we remember it with a negative emotional charge, with fear, sadness, anger, if there's a negative emotional charge linked with the memory, then it torques the fascia. This membrane under our skin, we torque it or twist it through a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual injury or trauma. When the membrane is twisted, it creates a zone of energetic anomaly, a disturbance that starts to manifest as a symptom that will possibly become a disease if it's not recalibrated, rebalanced, reestablished into the circuitry of the fascial membrane. Because all of the acupuncture meridians and all of the chakras are embedded in the fascia. embedded in the fascia. So as we wake up our perception of the fascia, and when we're engaging in, Tai Chi or Qigong or martial art, or yoga, we're trying to engage the fascia. If you take your hand and you just stretch it, as you do that with me, stretch it, you can feel the center. You can feel the entire surface all the way up the fingers. Find this. You can feel the backs of the fingers. Oh, yeah. You can feel it on the back of the hand. You can start to pull it up the arm. So as we find the outer edge of the membrane, it starts to wake up the whole surface of the body. From that awakened surface, we can then move consciousness inward or outward. So we are the indigenous people in Avatar. This is our birthright. Our birthright on planet Earth, with our planet, Gaia, living mother that she is for us. We are her children. Our natural state is to have a psychic, symbiotic connection, relationship with her and all of her children, all of her human forms, all of her animal forms, all of her plant forms, all of her mineral forms, and all her spirit forms. To have a psychic, symbiotic relationship. It's a remembering. 2012, end of the Mayan calendar, is the beginning of the shift of a new cycle. What's happening around us is not the destruction of things, although it may kind of look like that on the surface. So I was doing this today because I wanted to talk some more about coronavirus. So first, let's just contrast coronavirus with the common flu. So flus have, existed easily over the last, couple million, couple thousand. No, huh? I love it. I like it when you transpose things. Yeah, I know. That's sometimes having a reference point is valuable. It is in fact not a reference point. But 2,000 years that we know of. And in this period of time, we've had a lot of exposure, so we've created antibodies. And those antibodies basically generate natural protection, a natural immunity from the ravages, the onslaught of the virus. But what happens, of course, is that the virus mutates and it creates different strains. And we're exposed, and so it's a cycle of increased immunity and less, and it waves back and forth, and there is a natural dance. It's part of the ecosystem of the planet. And it's really well designed, and us muddling with the organisms and the vectors of transmission is rife with a lot of potential problems. But Shall I regress? Coronavirus is a novel virus, existed for about 3-4 months now. So we, as a human species, an organism on the planet, we don't have any antibody response because we haven't had the exposures. And it's really aggressive. It's a strong pathogen, and it likes to get in. So there's several things that have been consistent. I think in the story that's been shared with us through the media and whatever other sources we get current news data stream. So it seems that it primarily affects 65 and older with pre-existing conditions, not exclusively. We now see the pattern shifted. Some younger people seem to be receptive to this as well, or susceptible to it as well. So the flu, in its averages, the seasonal annual flu, actually kills 15 to 60,000 people a year in the United States alone. 15 to 60,000 people a year in the United States alone. So with a 330 million population base, that is 0.02%. 0.02. So when this initially broke out, and so I'm talking about the early data coming out of China, and you need to understand the nature of, this type of data, essentially. It's subject to a lot of gray area, a lot of deviation, because of a complex system with a lot of variables. I mean, it's, the ecosystem of the planet is a very complex system with a lot of variables. And we're talking about little pockets within that system, and we're trying to assess or analyze, what's really happening. So, good luck. But we're clever. We're clever humans, and so we like to, project stuff. So remember, I said there's no past. It's only the memory. So there's no future. Oh, what do you mean? Future. We have to be going there. That's where things are wondrous. So, but doesn't exist. What? Really? No, I mean it. Doesn't exist. Really? No. It's like the past. Well, past existed. Well, it did. But only in our memory. Whew. Okay. And the future, it's just a projection of a possibility. Get this? It's a projection of a possibility. And we can be very scientific. We can put out numbers and data and share a trend, a pattern, and show the trend has happened in the past so we can project it into the future. We can create the continuum of knowing what is to come. Voila! We like it. We particularly like it as an action in fantasy. But even in an action in, quote, reality, seeming reality, it's still a projection in fantasy. With that token, we're co-creators. We are particles within the organism that is it, that is the ocean, that is God, if you will. Co-creators, our essence, holographic universe, co-creators, particles within the body of it, waking up. No future. No future. Just a projection of a possibility. Whoa. Yeah, but it's true. Go figure. It's true. So, we're in a transition. We're on a cusp, critical cusp. We can implode, really mess ourselves up and whatever. I mean, it's an option. Or not. We are not powerless in this. We are not pawns within this. We have agency. We have free will. I know you may not believe it, but take it as a given from me at this moment and experiment with it. Why did that pause? My screen went black. Let me pause a second.